What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Landing on the Plains. All things Auburn football from someone who really lived it. Let's go. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Man, it is football season, and I am excited. Auburn Tigers reporting to fall camp today and hitting the practice field for the first time. Your 2026 Auburn Tigers for the first time tomorrow on Wednesday. And man, it's that time, man. War Eagle, fly down the field. Never to conquer, never to you. War Eagle, feel isn't true. Fight on orange and blue. Go, go, go. Let's go. Man, let's do it, man. I'm excited for these boys, man, and I'm just ready for it to already, be here, get the football season, get these games going, and get this thing back on track, man. But today is all about fall camp, and I'm gonna be giving my, key 3 points I think for offense and defense, as we head into fall camp. Kind of go over, the three things that I feel like the offense and defense need to accomplish or figure out, kind of hash out as they go into camp. And I feel like it'll make us a better football team as we come out and prepare to go see Baylor in Atlanta. But before we get to that, man, fall camp, we all know what that's about. It's a grueling time, it's a grueling experience, and it's something that I lived through. And fall camp really, man, fall camp will really test if you really love football. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's some days where you really question, like, do I even really love football, bro? Do I even really want to play for real? Like, man, this is our fifth practice in 7 days. They all been padded. We got a scrimmage. Like, my body feels terrible. I got a headache. My neck hurt. My back hurt. Everything on my body hurt. But we got to go out there and we got to go to work. It's 90. It's 90 plus degrees. It's humid. It's hot. And me, I'm a sweater. So like, I could weigh in before practice. And me and my teammates would tell you, like, it's ridiculous. I really have a sweating condition. But I could weigh in at like 230. And by the time practice is over, I'm like 219. I kid you not. Like, I'm losing 10 plus pounds a day. Like, so I would have to drink extra fluids. I'm having to replenish everything that I lost, in a very short amount of time we got until we got to work out the same. Like, it's crazy. The schedule is crazy. Like, you wake up like 6, 7 in the morning. And you got meetings all morning. You practice and you got, what I mean? Like, it's lunch, it's recovery, it's more meetings. Then you come back, you got walkthroughs, more meetings. Like, you're not getting home until 9, 10 o'clock. And that's regular. Sometimes it was like 11. When I first got to school, like I'm telling you, 6 a.m. wake up, I'm walking back through my dorm room. It's 10:30, 11 o'clock. You got to wake up and do it all over again. Like, fall camp is time to, figure out where the leadership is on this team. Who's going to be those guys that we can count on, depend on, when things get tough, right? So, this is an important time. This is time for us to build that callus, to get ready to take those hits, get ready to deliver those hits, get our fundamentals down. The springtime was the time for us to put the schemes in. And, we're kind of ahead of schedule when it comes to that as well, being able to bring over so many guys from, the previous coaching staff and bring them over and kind of have some offensive continuity, and they're bringing the defensive staff back and them having familiarity and the same scheme and the same system as well. So I feel like we're in a good spot there. So I really feel like this is a good time for us to, ramp the physicality back up, right? Get acclimated, have some really good competition, and there's some things we got to hash out, and that's what we're about to get into, man. My top 3 things offensively, man. First one being, we got to figure out who RB2 is going to be. Like, this is the time here we get into camp. Like, we know Jeremiah Cobb is our RB1, one of the best backs in the league, somebody who's reliable, dependable, and he's a guy that, Coach Golish has said has completely transformed his body. And so to know that he went into this offseason and really grinded and really bulked up, I'm sure kept it, it probably got faster as well. So you're talking about somebody who's ready to take it to the next level. I think that is Jeremiah Cobb. However, it is an extremely long season. We all know that. It's a long, long season. It's a very physical season. It's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises, and there's going to be a lot of hits that Jeremiah is going to be taking. along with everybody else as well. And so it's going to be important for us to have another two, three, maybe even four running backs. Like it's going to take an entire village back there to get it done. And so, who is going to be the guy to step up and say, you know what, like, hey, this secondary running back position, like this is mine. Like it has to be mine. And they got to run hungry and they got to run angry. And it might be some times where they might, be the key back. Like Jeremiah Cobb is obviously the starting running back, but like I said, it's a long season at running back position. Like you have to have multiple guys who can get it done and split those carries. And so, who's going to be that guy? Is it going to be Bryce Washington? Is he in shape? Is he ready to go? He's a guy that this staff is extremely high on. Had some very, very productive games at Baylor. Like he's a guy who can really, really run and produce, but was a little out of shape in the spring. And so he's a guy that has to get in shape and be ready to take on that kind of load, to be able to take on that kind of, work. Is it going to be a guy like Omar Mapson? Like it could be a plethora of guys back there. Nakai Davenport is another guy. So it's some guys back there that are going to get some opportunities, especially here in fall camp. So who's going to step up and take on that RB2 position? Because we need multiple backs back there to go along with Jeremiah and also Byram, who's going to be running a good bit as well. So RB2 position, that's something that I'm going to be monitoring and watching as we go through camp. So that's something that's going to be really big for us. Secondly, it goes without saying, obviously the offensive line in particular, really finding out who those tackles are. Like we have to have elite tackle play. Like that is something that has been crushing us for a few years now. Like we have had some pretty good players on the interior. We just had, two guys on the interior who just got drafted from last year's team. And I'm pretty sure most people would say that the offensive line was underwhelming and underperforming. And so I think the tackle position in particular is something that we really had to figure that out in camp. This is a good time for them to challenge those guys, put them in situations where, hey, it might just be you one-on-one for a while. It might just be you getting put in some uncomfortable situations to see how you respond. Like this is the time to throw guys in that fire and kind of find out what they're made of, even more so than the spring. And so, yeah, it's that time, man. We got to find some tackles who, for one, can hear, hey, can they hear? You know what I'm saying? The snap count, can they hear hey, we won't say too much on that, but can they get the job done? Can they be consistent? Can we not have self-inflicted penalties? And can they be confident, man? We just need somebody out there who can get the job done and be confident. We need some dogs. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing, can this offensive line come together and gel as one and just be nasty? Like that's going to be key for us. So secondly, it'll be the offensive line, in particular the tackles. And third for me might be a surprise. It's not the quarterback position. It's not the receiver position for me. The last and final piece for me going into camp would be tight end production. Like, man, we need some tight end production, man. Like it's been a long time coming, and we got a plethora of guys who are talented, man. Brought a guy over from USF, a guy from North Carolina. Like we got some guys in the room. But can somebody step up and kind of put an end to this kind of tight end drought we've been in for quite some years now, And so I think that's going to be interesting because if we can get some tight end production, some real tight end production, like that opens up the entire offense. Like you're talking about a coach who already has said, hey, I'm running the piss out of the football. And we already have a quarterback who's dynamic. And we've got playmakers who are dynamic. And so the tight end, becoming a playmaker in this offense and for our team, like just opens up so much, especially if they can, work that middle of the field, work those seams, be great run after catch guys. Like, can they be effective in the run game? Be, nasty blockers along with the offensive line? Because it's bigger than just being, receiving threats. Can they be factors in the run game? Right. And so I think that's going to be very, very pivotal for us as we move forward as an offense. And last but not least, I just had one honorable mention offensively. It has nothing to do with Byram's talent. For me, The only question I have is, are you ready to take on, you know, this kind of pressure? Are you ready to put this town, are you ready to put this, you know, this fan base on your back? Because this is a fan base that is hungry. This is a fan base that has been longing for wins and success, and has been longing for a quarterback to come in and sweep them off their feet, like we've had, quite a few do in the past. Are you that guy? Even when things aren't going right, are you still confident? Are you still that guy? Do you exude confidence? Are guys on the team around you relaxed and calm because they know we got 17? Are you that guy? We'll see. Moving along to the defense. First and foremost, I think our biggest question, or one of our biggest questions, for me, is who's going to be that go-to pass rusher for us? Because I think we got some bodies, and it's not a lack of talent. It's just who's going to be that guy. We've lost 2 draft picks up front from last year, and some other guys who transferred out. And so who's going to step up and be, that dude? Because we need that. We need that. We were around the middle of the pack last year in sacks. And so I think this year we need to take a step forward. So where does that step forward come from as far as, affecting the quarterback up front? Because teams are going to key in even more so this year on Xavier Atkins. And so who's going to be that guy on third down when we're rushing 4 because we're playing an effective quarterback, or we're dropping 8? Who's going to be that guy where it's like, we got to either double this guy or chip this guy? He's wrecking our game plan. Is it going to be a guy like Jared Smith? Is he ready to take that kind of lead? Is it going to be, Deshaun Womack? How is this situation going to continue to iron out as we head into a fall camp in the season? Because he's a guy who can be big time as well. And you also have a guy like Chris Murray who's back in the fold. And so I think we've got some bodies. We got some guys who can go. But is there anybody that's going to step up and, transform it to one of the best in the league? Because that would do our defense a big, big, big favor. Secondly, defensively, I think it's about finding the right combination and the right fit on the back end. Because we've got so many talented guys back there, but it's so many different moving parts. Like, we have to find the right guys at the right position, to fit this scheme. Like, where does New Boy fit in? Is he going to be the safety? Is he the nickel? And there's so many guys that are interchangeable. And so this is not even a bad thing. There's just so many guys who can play multiple positions. And so it's going to be about this staff, ironing that out, figuring out where guys go and when. Like, it's not just, you don't just play guys at one spot and that's it. Like, when do we move guys around? In what package? This guy's playing so well, or he performed so well in camp, we've got to put him in a package. And so what does that package look like? We've got to get him on the field. So we have to maximize his strengths. Where do we put him? And so that could also be to our advantage, because we can line guys up who were at safety last week. Now they're in nickel. They were at nickel. Now they're at safety. We got some guys who play corner and safety. So it's like we can do some different things. We can show one thing pre-snap and get to another thing post-snap, because guys, have the ability to do that. And so that's exciting. But I think it's going to be key for us, especially early in the season, to find those guys, to plug those guys in the right spots, safety position, the nickel position in particular, and kind of figuring that out. And that'll, again, pay big, big dividends for our defense moving forward. And last but not least, defensively, I think we just need to make more splash plays. Like, we got to affect the football game. Even if, the offense is struggling, no matter what the case may be, defensively, we got to create more turnovers. We got to create even more TFLs, even more sacks, more splash plays, more negative plays to help us get off the field. Because, again, we weren't necessarily terrible at these things, but we're just middle of the pack, and we can't be middle of the pack. Like, we have to be, like, we're trying to be elite. And so I think we were around like the 40s like in sacks and TFLs. One of them was 39, but like nationally ranked, we were about 40s and all of these things, sacks, TFLs, and takeaways. And so we need to be top 20 nationally in these things. Like we need to be affecting the football game, punching the ball out, getting our hands on footballs. And when we get our hands on footballs, we catch them. And then we know what to do with it. And so I think we have to create more and more turnovers and create more negative and splash plays. And I think that'll take us a lot further defensively. And, just last honorable mention defensively, like, how can we stop that bleeding if we get to a situation where we've been in the last couple of years where the offense may be struggling or we're playing another team that has a damn good defense? Can we sustain what we normally do in the first and second quarters? Like we always come out and, we establish ourselves. And then as you see the game continue to go on, somewhere along the line, we let go of the rope. And so can this defense, have an identity about themselves and a grit and a toughness about themselves to, be able to dig their cleats in the grass and you say, no, not today. It doesn't matter the circumstances. They go out there and they put the fire out. No matter if it's a turnover in their own territory, it doesn't matter. They go out there and put the fire out. And so can our defense build up that kind of toughness, mental and physical toughness to no matter what the situation is, they put their back against the wall and they get the job done more times than not. And so I think we do those things that I just mentioned throughout camp and as we get into the season, like we're going to win some football games. Point blank, period. So I'm excited, man. Fall camp is here. Again, your Auburn Tigers hit the field for the first time this season, tomorrow, Wednesday. And so it's that time, man. Fall camp is here, man. And the season will be here before we know it. And so this is the best time of the year, my favorite time of the year. Can't wait to get back and, catch a practice or two, definitely some games. And so, yeah, this is just – it's a great time to be alive, great time to be here, great time to be an Auburn fan, and it's going to be a great season, so I'm looking forward to it. So I appreciate you tuning in, man. That's all we got for today. If you like this episode, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you tune into the next one. And as always, War Eagle.